We define a sound envelope as the way an attribute of sound changes over time. In the case of an ADSR envelope, the attribute is amplitude. The four parts of an ADSR envelope are the attack, decay, sustain, and release. The attack is the time it takes for the sound to go from 0 decibels at its onset to its highest amplitude. Decay is the time it takes for the sound to go from its highest amplitude to the sustain level. Sustain is a measure of the amplitude at which the sound remains constant. And release is the time it takes for the sound to go from its sustain level to 0 decibels. Thus, attack, decay, and release are measurements of time, whereas sustain is a measurement of amplitude. These sample waveforms were generated in Reaper, so you will see that the amplitude is represented both above and below the x-axis.
Let's start with the piano. During the sustain, you'll notice that the amplitude does slightly decrease, but otherwise, this is a standard ADSR.
A pitched percussion instrument produces a waveform with minimal attack. Like the piano, there is a slight decrease in amplitude during the sustain.
The violin has a relatively longer attack and release. The string continues to vibrate even when the bow has left, causing the long release time.
During the sustain of a note sung by a soprano, there are large fluctuations in amplitude, which can be attributed to the singing style. In this case, the vocalist used quite a bit of tremolo. There is decay present, but it's also possible to sing with no decay present.
This waveform is of a note played by a bass trombone. There is absolutely no decay and a relatively stable sustain.
Now, for a non-musical example, here is a waveform of a car horn. As you can see, there is a consistent sustain and no decay. While every sound has an attack and release, not every sound has a decay.
However, most sounds in the real world follow the standard attack, decay, sustain, and release.